Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys That Magic. This is Hunter, Shane, David. Say what's up.
What's up?
What up?
We are back this time with our multicolored legendary review or commander grade video from Innistrad, Midnight Hunt. Without further ado, let's just kick it straight off with Dennick, Pious Apprentice. Dennick, Pious Apprentice is 1 white and a blue for a 2/3 human soldier. It has lifelink. It has cards and graveyards, can't be the targets of spells or abilities. It also has a disturb cost, which costs 2, a white and a blue. When you pay the disturb cost, it comes back as Dennick Pious Apparition. It is a 3/2 spirit soldier with flying that states whenever one or more creature cards are put into graveyards from anywhere, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. And then, of course, when it dies, it goes to exile, but it'll just go back in the command zone if it's your commander. Flipped back. What do we think, David?
I think this card is honestly probably just entirely for standard. It's really decently statted, and I mean, 2 mana for a 2/3 with lifelink is dope, especially since there's also some human tribal stuff going on in Innistrad as well. For EDH, though, I mean, it has a really powerful ability, but it's just so specific on the front half that I don't know how often that's going to come up. And then on the back half, there's, I feel like, a little bit more that you can do with it, but it does have an ability stable onto it where it's like this ability triggers only once each turn, and I feel like that kind of shuts down any way that I would want to abuse this card.
Yeah, I completely agree. Unless you are specifically playing against your opponents that are dealing with graveyard stuff, the front half really doesn't do anything for you. I mean, 2/3 lifelinker, you want more than that on a commander. The cool thing is the disturb cost, always going to cost the same. So if you can somehow get your commander into the graveyard, you can always bring it back for 4 mana. Because that's what you really want to do. You really want to use the backside only. But that's all I got.
I think you care about the front side more, and that's in the situation where you just said that you need to be playing with people that care about graveyard, but in a sense where if you're playing with your group of friends and you know what the brews are of your friends, like for me, I would build this whenever you play your damn, you're bringing something from the graveyard tapped and tagging, that just completely destroys your deck. Like you don't get to play that anymore. So that'd be really fun in that situation.
I mean, by that same argument, though, are you really going to be that asshole who, like,
100%.
Hold up, guys, let me look at what everybody else is playing and let me bring in, like, some kind of silver bullet, almost like you're, like, sideboarding in a game of EDH.
It's almost like you're describing how you play Magic. It's crazy, dude.
It's not how I play Magic.
I think you're like,
Yeah,
what's everyone playing? All right, I'll play this deck.
I mean, I mainly base my decks based off of, like, how long should we let this game go for?
Yeah, you're right. But whatever. All I'm saying is the front does seem really good. Again, if you know that people are going to be playing graveyard decks, that just you can become completely like a menace to that one player. Awesome.
I will say, though, I absolutely love the artwork on this card. I did open one of these up for our pre-release, and I got it in foil, and the foiling on this thing is fantastic as well. And then I love these transform cards just because, like, I feel like they tell so much of a story just from the artwork on them. So as far as that is concerned, I absolutely love the card. I wish it did a little bit more in EDH.
True. Super dope card.
Yeah, I'm not too high on this card as a commander. I think it should do a little more, and it's very too specific. And the ability only triggers once on the backside, which I think is the better ability. Not great. I'm giving this a D.
I agree.
We're grading. Sorry, yeah. I'm gonna give it a C. I think that it still would be a fun commander to build in certain situations.
I think that it could be fun. I think, in all honesty, I think I'm going to agree with Hunter on this. I think this is closer to a D than a C just because of how incredibly narrow this thing is. I don't think it's an F. I don't think it's unplayable, but there's going to be a lot of games where this really doesn't do a whole lot.
Completely agree. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next card we're talking about is Florian, Voldaren Scion. Florian is 1, a black and a red for a 3/3 vampire noble. It has first strike. it also states at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponents lost this turn. Exile one of those cards and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may play the exiled card this turn. David, let's start with you again.
This card, I feel like, is super difficult for me to evaluate because I feel like it's very dependent on the power level that you're playing at. If you're playing at a lower power level, typically you're going to be running into a lot more creatures that your opponents are going to be playing. So this might not be able to get in as consistently, or other creatures that you're going to be attacking with probably won't be able to get in as consistently, just because your opponents are probably going to have more blockers. At the same time, however, if you're playing in a higher power setting, so in higher power, typically your opponents are going to be playing much more instants and sorceries than what they would creatures. So there's going to be less to actually block this thing. I feel like it's hard for me to grade because if your opponent is blocking this and blocking your other creatures, it's probably not going to be doing a whole lot. But if this thing is able to consistently punch through and deal damage, this can be really, really powerful. So I feel I feel like it's a card that has a really high ceiling, but it also has a fairly low floor.
Well, I looked at this like this because it is in red. There's a lot of burn spells. It doesn't necessarily say you need combat damage. It's just during your post-combat main phase, the amount of damage your opponent's lost this turn. So you could be dealing a lot of damage to opponents just with burn spells and essentially scrying to find the right card you can play that turn.
So I don't know. I look at this a little bit differently. I want Shane to share his opinion on that because I don't think that burn is the way to go here.
I'm automatically thinking burn either, but doesn't mean it's the wrong way to go. I'm feeling like you're going wide as fuck with this deck, and you probably care more about like tokens and shit. I don't know.
Oh, I'm definitely not saying burn is like the play here. I'm saying you can add burn into this deck. That helps you.
Oh, yeah, you can put burn in your red deck, dude. Fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
You can, but I feel like it's very difficult to pull off a legitimate burn strategy in EDH just because, I mean, you have 3 opponents that you're dealing with 40 life total each, and that's assuming that nobody's gaining life in there. So I don't think I would want to rely on that. I think that if you are trying to push through consistently and combat damage isn't the option, I feel like pingers would probably be more appropriate. So like those cards where it's like, I don't know, you tap it to deal a damage or deal X amount of damage based on some specific condition or something like that. And then just the stats on this thing. I mean, 3 mana for a 3/3 with first strike. You can equip this thing to make it bigger. You could Rogue's Passage to ensure that you're actually hitting your opponent.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, so this puts me as a vampire, dude. Just play aristocrats. Start like nuking them with that, dude. That'd be great.
My thought on this is actually like this is a fantastic commander for trying to find combo pieces because it's capable of digging through and churning through your library so quickly. So I feel like what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be trying to hit your opponents for a decent amount of damage, find a tutor or find a combo piece, and then just try to make your deck significantly more consistent based on that because you're going to be digging, hopefully, a pretty significant portion of the way through your deck.
See, that's what I was saying about the burn spells. You can dig with a burn spell, which is awesome.
You can.
I think it's pretty cool. It's something to put into red. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying build a burn deck around this.
I get you. Maybe I misunderstood your point.
Yeah, you're essentially scrying with burn spells.
Yeah.
I think it's dope. Shane, what is your grade here?
I don't really know. I typically don't play these colors. I'm not like do it immediately, so you guys put a good argument out saying that it's like a B, but I kind of want to give it a C just because I think I'd be on David's like casual end of that spectrum. I might give it a C.
I'm giving it a B, just a solid B. It's just like get away from your casual versus higher power. You just got to think of it as a commander. I'm giving it a B.
I feel like that's very difficult because I feel like the deck that you would want to build between those 2 different power levels would be very, very different for this.
You could say that for
So-
any card.
You know what? And you're absolutely right. You absolutely could argue that. I just feel like this one really, like, if I know I'm playing in a higher power, like this and maybe 10 other creatures may be the only creatures that occupy my deck. If I'm not playing at that, then I'm probably flooding with maybe 25, 30, 35 creatures and trying to have some kind of combination of like creatures with unblockable or creatures that can get in for pinging or like something like that can get that consistent damage through, or even go the burn route there where I'm throwing lightning bolt and maybe a couple other spells of the equivalent inside my deck. So I think that the floor on this thing, it has the potential to sit around and really not do anything. But the ceiling on it was also so stupidly high that I'm going to say this is between a C and an A, so let's go with a B.
I was gonna say, give us your goddamn grade.
C and an A.
It's either
All right.
barely okay or a stud. Got it.
So it's a B.
I think there's going to be games where this thing is dominant and you need to kill this immediately. I think there's also going to be games where you can completely ignore this card.
I got
Well,
you, dude.
the average of this card, we're giving it a B. Let's move on. Next up, we got Katilda, Dawnhart Prime. Katilda is 1 green and a white for a 1/1 human warlock. They have protection from werewolves. Human creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. It also has another ability that you can pay for a green and a white and tap it and put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. I think I'll go first with this one. It can ignore protection from werewolves. I get it. We're in Innistrad. It's all about the werewolves. Bigger picture, ignore that line. You're not going to see a lot of werewolves in EDH. I mean, you could, based on a card we'll talk about later, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think this can get out of hand super quickly. Human tribal, all of your humans are just mana dorks from that point. That's insane. I don't have anything else to say.
You got a note too that it doesn't say like non-tokens. So even your tokens are little mana dorks too.
I know it.
Pretty crazy. And it has like an ability that you can later in the game, like you're not just sitting around doing nothing. You can pump magic or mana into it. That seems like a really good card.
Yeah, dude, tap all your humans and give them counters.
I don't know if you've noticed this either. It doesn't say other humans, so this can tap for mana as well.
Yep.
Right.
I think this is a commander where, like, if you want to consistently have 6 to 7 mana on turn 3, this will do that.
Yeah, I think.
Wait a minute though. I didn't read the whole thing too. That's interesting. So it only taps for the color that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if this is
Got
your
it.
commander,
Well, no, I'm saying like, but most humans are white, so you're probably only tapping them for white.
There's
You know what
humans
I'm
in all 5 colors of Magic. You can still
Well-
find plenty of green ones.
Okay. Well, I'm saying like if you're sticking with green and white. It's just interesting though. I thought it would tap for any color. It's only for that creature's color.
yeah, I think it's still extremely powerful.
Oh, I wasn't saying it
Yeah.
wasn't. I did still.
What do you think, Dave?
I think this is hands down the best human tribal commander from this set. I think this may arguably also potentially be the best commander from this set.
Ooh, big
You heard it
praises.
here first, folks.
Big praises, Dave.
I mean, it gets out very quickly. It's only 2 mana. It's going to end up ramping you for a ton. And then those turns where you don't have something to do with that mana, she's got an ability that allows you to make your team bigger. So, like, she gives you that mana sink there. And then, of course, she has protection from werewolves, which is flavor text.
Like her text. Yeah, essentially.
She's a noble hierarch that has other cool stuff, dude. Go.
Yeah, I will agree with you, David. This is probably, I believe this is my favorite commander or legendary that they've shown from this set, as far as commander goes.
I don't know if it's my favorite. I think it's probably the most powerful.
Oh, most powerful is favorite, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Well, what's your grade?
I'm going to give this thing a B. I think that it is definitely super powerful. I don't quite want to put it into the A range. I don't think this is a commander that you necessarily have to kill on site, because I can definitely see a world where maybe this kind of deck struggles to come back from a board wipe, because it looks like it's one of those where it just kind of like vomits out its hand immediately. And if your opponent is playing with some decent interaction there or can wipe you, you may struggle to get back into the game. But this is going to come out very quickly. It's going to be a very early threat. So I don't quite want to give it an A, but I'm going to give it like a very high B.
How about you, Shane?
I'm gonna give it a B. I don't like humans, but fuck it.
I'm a human player. I'm giving it B.
Damn,
So
you're not
that
giving it an A, dude?
I'm not giving it an A. I'm
I
giving
thought
it
you'd
a
be sucking
B.
this card's dick, dude.
Not quite. Not yet.
Okay.
So that average, believe it or not, is a B. Let's continue with Liesa, Forgotten Archangel. Liesa is 2 white and a black for a 4/5 angel. She's got flying. She's got lifelink. She says whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. She also says if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Whoo! This is a good card. David, what do you think?
I think that if you're trying to build like an Orzhov Aristocrats, this is really dope. That ability where you can start grabbing those non-tokens, putting them back into your hand is insane. You can totally abuse that. And it's not even just like one per turn or like activate only once per turn that they've been doing here lately. So you can just like sacrifice all of your creatures, get all of your creatures back for some kind of shenanigans there. And then it has that like Hate Bear's clause on it stapled to it as well, where it's got that exile effect for your opponent's stuff, which is super cool. That's going to shut down a lot. And it's all stapled onto a pretty decently sized body.
Yep. Yeah. I just said, sign me the fuck up. This is a dope card. And I already know, David, you said you were going to build around it. I'm excited to see if you actually go through with that.
I can already see now like the fucking dumb deck you build. This card's lit, dude.
It's going to
It
sack his
essentially
stuff
turns-
to put back in the hand.
Yeah, it turns all your creatures into fucking gods. Like, that's sick. Or yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this card. It's fucking sick.
It's just punishing to everybody else's stuff, just exiling everything. Yeah, I love it. I love this so much.
So David said he's gonna build it, so make sure, Hunter, you do not build this.
Oh, I wrote sign me the
Don't
fuck
forget.
up.
Oh, you
I
can't have
wrote-
it. David called dibs.
That's specifically actually why. Like, okay, so I saw this card get spoiled and I texted him. I said, this one's mine. Don't fucking even.
Because I took the other Liesa. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm giving this card a B. This is a fantastic card.
Dude, in these like specific colors, I'm gonna give this card an A. I think it's nuts.
Ooh. We got our
If
first
David
A.
didn't call dibs, I'd do it, dude.
I'm still gonna go with a B on this one.
Well,
I think it's really powerful. I don't think it's quite at what I would put as an A.
Oh, I'm gonna put her in my angel deck, dude.
well, that
Go well in
average for this card is a B. Let's move on to another flip-flop card. This time we've got Ludevic, Necrogenius. Ludevic is a 2/3 human wizard. Whenever Ludevic Necrogenius enters the battlefield or attacks, mill a card. He also has another ability that says pay X, 2 blue and 2 black, exile X creature cards from your graveyard. Transform Ludevic. X can't be 0. Activate only as a sorcery. When he transforms, he turns into Olag, Ludevic's Hubris. Olag is a 4/4 zombie that states as this creature transforms into Olag, Ludevic's Hubris, it becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it, except its name is Olag. It's a 4/4, and it's a legendary blue-black zombie, in addition to its other colors and types. Put a number of 1/1 counters on Olag equal to the number of creature cards exiled with it.
There's a lot to unpack here, dude.
That is a lot of text.
Like a 2-color mimeoplasm.
2-color mimeoplasm.
Or minioplasm. I don't remember if it's a min or a mim. I don't know.
Mimnarch, dude.
But that one's a different card altogether.
I know.
Well, I'll start with this card. I kind of wrote
dude.
that you're paying 7 mana essentially by making X just 1. Say you get like a Buried Alive just to go get your creature card that you really want, throw it in the battlefield just so you can go and bring it back. So 7 mana to get the creature you really want on the battlefield. But is that worth it? Because then it will cost 9, 11, 13, 15. That's only if you're paying X as 1. I think it's just too expensive to do 1 creature because you're not getting all the abilities. I understand you get the 1/1 counters, but to pay more with X, realistically, I think X is really just going to be 1.
Fuck no, dude.
Okay, go ahead and explain why.
You can do that at any time, bro. You don't have to do like. I'm not gonna have this out and be like, all right, I got 7 mana. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wait. Like you can also wait until you have the target in your graveyard. You can, like, there are other ways.
I never said do it all at once. I'm just saying.
You did. It's a 7 mana.
I'm saying it will cost 7 mana. Yeah.
Well, it costs 2 to come out, right? And then in a couple turns, I'm just saying, like, sure, in the span of, you can say that anything costs a bunch of mana in the span of a couple turns. So what you're getting at, like,
I'm getting at it will cost minimum 7 mana to get the creature that you put in the creature that's in the graveyard to come back.
yes.
I don't know if I agree with the math. I understand that, yes, it is a total of 7 mana, but because it's spaced out over a couple of different turns, I don't know if I look at it as the same kind of investment. I look at it like this. Whenever I'm seeing a card like this on its surface, I'm genuinely not impressed. At the same time, however, I look at it and I think, okay, can I do, I don't know, some broken, crazy shenanigan thing with this where I am specifically trying to grab 1 creature? I don't know. I mean, like, I could throw a laboratory maniac in my graveyard, have this thing in play, and then I don't know if I draw a demonic consultation, or I'm sorry, not demonic consultation. If I draw a demonic consultation or tainted pact, I can instant speed, use those, and then flip this, make it a copy of that laboratory maniac, and then just win the game off that. So, like, there's nutty things that you could potentially do with this. Now, don't get me wrong. You're kind of showing off to the table like, hey, I'm getting ready to load up for something. So
you're setting up, right?
Yeah. Its first ability of the ETB mill or attack, I genuinely don't care. That basically does nothing for me. And then its flip ability, honestly, I don't really think I care too much about like the stats on the creature, because it's just going to be a big creature that copies whatever, I guess, you want to exile. So, like, I understand that, yeah, you're probably only going to be paying for X equals 1, but I still think you can make that X equals 1 pretty impactful.
Yeah. I don't know what the trick would be, but you could definitely make it a trick deck.
Dude, Thassa's Oracle.
Thassa's Oracle is an ETB. That's actually specifically why I used Laboratory Maniac, because the Thassa's Oracle wouldn't work here.
Oh, right.
Rip.
But I mean, essentially, I'm describing like a combo that you could pull off that basically, like, it already exists, and now I'm just adding more steps. And more steps means more opportunities for my opponent to interact and shut me down.
True.
I mean, I guess it's a way that I could no, I can't even instant speed. I forgot. Look at that. I didn't even realize it's activated as only as a sorcery.
Yep.
So, same thing. I mean, I'm making a combo even more convoluted.
Well, I'm giving it a D.
Oh yeah, I could imagine you were. You don't like the numbers.
Math doesn't check out, dude. Activate only is a sorcery.
I like it. I like it. I don't think it's gonna be crazy, but I'd give it probably a C. I'd play with something like this. Or like I
It's
would
just your
want to make it
colors.
work. Yeah, dude, I would want to make it work, dude.
I feel like there's a way to break this. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it a C. I'm not honestly genuinely impressed with any aspect of the card, but I definitely see a world in which being able to copy a specific card from your graveyard, or be able to copy that specific creature card from your graveyard, I feel like there's a way to make this really powerful.
I got you.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, that average, you guys made it a C.
Council has decided.
Let's move on to the last card we're talking about today in this video. This is Old Stickfingers. What a great name. Old Stickfingers is X, a black, and a green for a star horror. It states when you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Old Stickfinger's power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Shane, go ahead.
Yeah, you want to go with me first because I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how to grade this. Because like, no, okay. This is gonna sound stupid, but to me it almost sounds like counterintuitive because, and after David, tell me why this is wrong. But like, so you're gonna put you care about creatures in your graveyard, but the deck that I was thinking about would probably want to bring the creatures out of the graveyard. So then this would get smaller. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's like it would. It's a good way to get them in the graveyard in the first place, but then wouldn't you inevitably want to bring them out of the graveyard, make it smaller? So I don't know. David, tell me why that's wrong.
I feel like this is another commander that if you build it specifically around a strategy, this thing gets nuts.
Okay.
If you sit down at a casual table and use this as a self-mill engine, this is basically just like a big beater, which sometimes that's okay, because honestly, this thing could get absolutely insanely large.
You hate big dumb beaters.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever I'm thinking of a big dumb beater that's like a 2-mana 21/21 or something like that, that piques my interest.
Okay.
My ears are up.
I don't know how that makes any
So-
difference.
It's in green and black. You have tons of self-mill strategies in this. Plus, this card self-mills as well.
Mhm.
Now, I know that this card is making a bit of a buzz within the CEDH community because what they've been doing is instead of jamming their deck filled with a bunch of creatures, you actually jam it with very minimal numbers of creatures instead. So typically it's like this and maybe 2 others. So what they're doing is they're kind of turboing out a Razakath and then comboing off for the win based off of that. So if you only have say 2 creatures in your deck, if you pay for X equals 2, you've milled every creature in your deck. So it's essentially like you're tutoring for them. You're grabbing that reanimation target, specifically the one that you want.
See, thank you. That's why. Okay. I knew you were gonna tell me why I was wrong.
I'm not telling you that you're wrong. I think
No, that makes sense though. No, that's good. That's good.
I think this is
Like,
the commander that like, if you build it specifically to do that, this thing is insane. If you don't build it to do that, if you build it around like just kind of like I'm gonna jam creatures in my deck and want to sit down and play a casual game of Magic, then this is a very different deck.
Right. Got it. Huh.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of X as like based on our old commander grade videos. You guys have learned this about me. I don't like X as a casting cost ever for commanders because you always have to pay that commander tax. But the synergy of throwing shit into the graveyard and growing him makes it worthwhile. So I like it. I like it a lot. And what you just said about the combo potential of this guy, yeah, that's real. I like it.
Yeah, see, I feel like Hunter just was with me and like describing a far different deck than what David was describing. And I kind of like the David version of it because then you win.
Win.
You win. Yeah, you just
Win.
go like, here's my guy, now I win.
Here's my guy, and now I win. So what's your grade then, Shane?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how to grade. B? Seems
B?
really fucking good. B?
Well, David?
A? A, fuck A? I give that other angel an A. I gotta give this an A, I guess.
I feel like there's several legendary creatures in this set that like if you build them
They will
to
come.
like if you if that will come. If you build them like absolutely as optimal as you possibly can, and you are playing in a meta where that is acceptable, then they get really nuts. At the same time, you can build these for like a casual table, and the deck is it's night and day. They're very, very different. And I'm not saying that this isn't a powerful commander for a casual table. I definitely think it can be. But like I feel like they operate so functionally different that it's difficult for me to grade this. I am going to give it an A because of that combo potential. I don't think that that would be the deck that I personally would be sitting down to play. But I realize and do want to recognize that it has that going for it.
I'm also
Okay.
giving it an A. I like it. I said it already. I like it. Also, I wanted to make a joke when you said it's day and night. I wanted to say, do you mean day bound and night bound?
Oh, you're
God.
so cheesy.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't had any legendary multicolor cards that have cared about day and night so far, have we?
Not yet, but that's in the next video because this is the end of the video. Hope you guys... Foreshadowing. That's correct. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Until part 2, we will see you next time. Bye.
This is
Oh, you said deuces. Bye.